from 2 wins, you have brought in almost an extra $10,000.
I'm sitting on my butt. First win, $7K, right? I won my second one. This was keyboards and mouses. This one was only $1,200 profit though. I almost didn't do anything right in my head, but I won.
So I am so excited today. We have Andre with us, who you can just tell is just this beam of light and energy positivity. So I am so honored to have you here today. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate that introduction. Yours, of course, is ahead of you, right? I don't need to give an introduction on how amazing you are, but I do again want to thank you. I'm honored to be in this space. I'm honored to have you as a teacher. Being a student with the information you give and everything that you're producing online is very, very easy to be self-sufficient with. So you're doing an amazing job. I can't say that.
Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that, especially today with some things that went on. So I really appreciate that. And that's the whole purpose, is to be able to put out information, to have these great interviews so people can see it truly is possible. It's not something that it's just running around in my head, but it happened. So please share with us, Andre, how did you even get into government contracting?
I have a long route and journey towards that. I guess I'll just get straight to it to not be too long-winded. So 2015 is when my daughter came into this realm. At that point, I didn't really have any serious obligations or responsibilities. So I guess that kind of made me man up somewhat, right? And start taking care of what I like to call the 6 pillars: spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and socially. Spiritually, I had a backing and foundation, but mentally and financially, I was somewhat lost, right? Just picking up what I can along the journey of being a man, period. And so while I'm going through this whole journey of trying to figure out who I am, what I want to do, be a master of, how do I provide for my family, a person in my SOI sphere of influence has said, you're a pretty smart guy and you're good with numbers. Maybe you should go into trading. Now, at this time, the stock market looked like rocket science to me, right? It looked like trigonometry and calculus all put into one. So it was a pretty daunting task for me. However, I love challenges. So I went ahead and dived in. At that time, I'm working tech support, tier 2. So I have a bit of time to add work, which of course wasn't something I should have been doing, but I was able to study while also providing tech support to the reps at realtor.com at this point. A few times I get caught trading, right? And they warn me if it happens again, then I will be termed. But I'm going on 2 years now where I'm full-time working and studying every day. Every single day, I'm studying the stock market like a desperate man. And so when they give me the warning, hey, you'll be termed if you continue, at that point, I'm taking signs from the universe. Maybe I have accumulated enough information to step out, and you know how that goes when we're too scared or have too much fear to take that next step. Sometimes the universe or God will, push you in that direction, and then it's upon you to use discernment and have faith and whatnot. And so at this time, I'm kind of feeling myself due to how much I have gained in the stock market and the conversations I can have with, expert traders. So I take the leap. 2017, I quit, and then I never looked back. During that journey, while I'm going on my trials and tribulations of being a trader, I'm losing money left and right, but I'm also gaining money left and right. And then I run into a mentor who says, this is not supposed to be your main income stream, right? You need to have something to back that. And then when you have a certain surplus, then you can go full time. So he basically, after 2 months of me taking the step and the risk, I was then told by someone I admire greatly that I shouldn't have done that and should have waited till I had a certain amount of cash to do so. So that pivots me into my entrepreneur journey. So now I am studying everything else like I was with the stock market, from drop shipping to affiliate marketing to SaaS, SaaS to basically any and everything at this time, right? And this is about 2017 to 2019, where I gained all the knowledge of how to run a business. So then I started doing that. I found a new passion for operating as a business owner. So now I'm doing print-on-demand t-shirts, trying all type of merch for drop shipping. I'm learning how to wholesale for real estate. I've also, during this journey, become vegan, and I go on a 7-year vegan streak. So during that time, I learned how to supplement the body, and I started selling herbs. So I'm all over the place, right? But my bank account doesn't mind because I'm raking in a lot of money from all these lanes, right? So I'm filling myself once again. Now I'm taking a large chunk of the money, putting it back into trading. And one thing that stood out this whole time during this whole journey is subcontracting. And I'll emphasize on that. So I get to a point to where, actually, let me fast forward a little bit and then it'll tie into everything I'm saying, right? So I fast forward a little bit to 2022, right? Now, went through this whole journey of accumulating all this info from all these niches, right? And now I have a surplus of cash that I'm sitting on. And I'm like, okay, now since I've spread it myself too thin, I want to focus on one thing. And I admire mastery. I'm a jack of all trades right now, but experts and people who are master in their fields, I admire that to the highest. So I'm like, I need to focus on one thing. While I'm doing that, I don't even realize that I'm already subcontracting the work that I'm doing, because I don't really put the words together, right? I'm just being a middleman. I know I need to fulfill it, and I'm not the person to do it. I'm gonna hire someone else. I think I put subcontracting into into YouTube, just to basically like niche down and dive into something that I can be the best at. And government contracting comes up. So I watch a video for a second, and government alone, right, just brings a stigmatism to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to have 100 forms of paperwork ready. If I do anything wrong, I'm going to jail. All types of fear-based, right? So I kind of rub it off and then keep going. At this time, I see Eric Coffey, but I just brush it off, keep going. So like I said, fast forward to 2022, and I have the worst moment. While I'm trying to niche down, I'm actually losing money from everything I started. And the number one thing I learned from that was never stop doing what you were doing to get where you had gotten, right? So I stopped basically the whole formula of my success to do something else, and basically ran into a wall, crashed everything. Well, I have an amazing significant other at this time, my Empress, and she's supporting me financially, and also supporting the endeavors. However, the lifestyle, right, that I was living at that time, has now caught up to the income I'm bringing in monthly. And so we're basically going negative at this point. So when this happens, I'm panicking, buzzy, trying to do everything I had did before. So now I'm back at square one again, trying to start everything again. That was for, the 2022 until January of this year. So one, we would give a special shout out to my Empress, because she held it down for that long, right? And then second, when I come back out of nowhere, I'm meditating. This is so beautiful how you come, because it's divine. I'm meditating and I'm like, all right, now I'm about to let go and let God. I need to really just get out of my own way. I don't put anything into YouTube. And mind you, I done searched everything on the planet, right? And I have a PhD in YouTube University. So my algorithm is crazy. I have no idea how Kizzy Parks is the first video when I open YouTube, right? And I forget what I think it says middleman strategy. And so I'm like, oh, I have some experience with that. It's just not government. But I see the government. I'm like, you know what? Let me just dive into it. This is the first video. I go into it, and then you're just making everything so conducive and compatible to the way I work, right? Just baby steps. I have an LLC, but you're like, go get your LLC. Then go to Sam.Gov. Then press this button, register. After you register, then do this, then do this. And then all your videos, right, just slowly keep giving the information you need if you get stuck at one spot. The next video somewhat helps you circumvent how to get around. And then, so basically I'm just eating up everything you drop on YouTube. And then I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna take this serious, because she's making it look a little too easy, right? But I'm like, it's because she's a professional, right? You know, when experts do things, it looks easy. So again, I done took the stock market on before, and that was like Mount Everest. So I'm thinking if I could climb Mount Everest, I could definitely climb this government contracting mountain. So I joined the Facebook group. Now this is like, I actually registered and got set up. I got my cage code in the end of January, but I didn't bid because I'm still kind of all over the place, right? And still trying to learn everything and gather the definitions for all the abbreviations. So I don't start bidding till late February. I don't start bidding till late February. However, I basically have, and I would love to have another call one day, because I seen someone do like how they write their capability statement, how they write their proposals, right? And I would love to have a video like that with you where I show my workflow and process. But I had gotten so much information from you free and from the group and on YouTube that I basically created like a whole template type of step-by-step for myself, right? Anytime I ever get lost, I'll just go, oh, step 7, do this. All right, step 9, do this. So it made everything very, very easy for me. And I was like, all right, the only issue I'm having is bidding, is just actually getting the contracts. So then, of course, I go right back to your channel and type in Kizzy Parks proposal, right? And then all those videos come up. And I'm like, but mind you, in the comments, I'm also commenting like to everyone who wants to keep asking you questions. I'm like, you guys, she's almost put everything she can. I don't even know how you're still creating videos. And of course, it's because of the everyone else winning contracts, right? So you have more content. But I'm like, you've said everything. Now you're just tripling up at this point. And then all the free resources on the group. So I'm telling everybody in the comments, just use her resources, use her resources. And I start realizing everyone, or mostly everyone, is having the same issue, submitting the bids. And if it's not submitting the bids, it's how to write the bid or how to get the subcontractor so you could price for the bid. And it's basically just everything around the bid. So I'm like, this really isn't as hard as everyone's making it seem. Let me just try to, and I do this for myself. If I haven't done something, I'll throw a rough draft or like a very quick version out there and let whatever I'm doing tell me what's wrong with it, right? So the CO, the first one, I submit and then I contact them and say, this is my first time. Oh, and I want to back up and talk about that for a second. A lot of people in the community, they make it seem like there's gatekeepers everywhere or something. And it's the exact opposite. Everyone wants you to have the information. So and it's fine. I love the activity in the group, but we don't always have to ask Izzy, what's this for? What's that for? One, if Google won't tell you, go straight to the source. You can email and or call these people. And sometimes they're not busy to where they could, half the time they want to answer all the questions, right? So we don't need to worry too much about, oh, I'm scared, or I don't want to, or this is a dumb question. They want to. We keep forgetting that this lump sum of cash that is more than we could ever count is designated for us to take. They're begging us, please take this money, right? So all the resources that they even have, I mean, they don't come close to yours, but again, it's showing we're trying to help take the money, bid, so we could, put it into the small businesses, because that's what runs America in the first place. The entrepreneurship, small business realm is what keeps America running. So that we have to take advantage of that. But at this point, I feel like I'm just blabbling and
No, you're not. So, just to recap, you tried all these things. You, first and foremost, your mentor gave you great advice. You tried all these areas. You then learn about government contracting. You then learn about me. You are like, okay, I'm going to bid. So if I understand correctly, you got the cage code in January, and within a couple of months, you're bidding.
Yes, ma'am. And I knew as soon as I get this cage code, because that was the first thing I seen when I got in the group. I got the cage code, all the
Yes.
posters. I got the cage code. And I'm like, okay, I see that that's the gate, right, to get in. As soon as you get that cage code, it's time to go nuts. Yeah.
Yes.
Do as much as you can possible at that point.
Right.
So,
tell us about
yes,
the
ma'am.
win, because
Yes, ma'am.
for frame of reference, it hasn't even been 4 months. So, I mean, just so everybody's aware.
Yeah,
Right.
from first bid, actually, the first time I decided to bid to when I got the award letter was only 5 weeks. So
5 weeks. My goodness, that's amazing.
right, amazing, right? And I don't want people to. Oh, here's something I really wanted to emphasize: is the amount, right? The amount of bids. So it goes 2 ways. I know half of the community is like, it's a numbers game, right? But then the other half is like, no, you need to use a sniper rifle and make sure you're being very precise when you're shooting these bids out. And you can do both. And so this is mine, right? And this is my method. I stay away from things I have no idea about, right? As soon as I read the title of the solicitation and I can't even fathom what they're talking about, I'll stay away from those. But other ones who are like portable scanners, right? Or certain equipment, or like, okay, this is the first one I bid on, a Bobcat. I forget what the actual model of it was, but I have never talked to anyone about a Bobcat whatsoever, right? But but being able to source it, get on the phone to get a quote, and then make sure that all the specs match up, literally took me an hour, and I've never stepped into the Bobcat realm at all, right? So when it comes to stuff that you don't know about, it's really not too hard to do some research and then be acclimated to whatever they're asking for. At that point, it just comes to, are you comfortable, right, with talking to your subcontractor about this, so you don't sound like an idiot and they run by you or undermine you in any way, right? But that's all. I'm really starting to realize that 90% of the fear, it's actually 99%, is us. We create it in our own head, and I'm trying to work on getting everyone to realize that, because it's cliche wherever you go when people say that. It's just keep going, just do it, and people have heard that 100 times, but I'm not sure if they really realize how priceless it is to just do it. Just doing it is the best teacher by far. You can ask a million questions, but until you actually try it or make mistakes, then you won't know what you need to work on, what you should be focused on, what you're lacking, and everyone's pieces are different. So you have to try to figure out where you're at. But I apologize, I'm on the tangent.
No, you're perfect. I love this. I want to know about the win. Tell us about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me get to that. So
this is
first win, $7K, right? And so let me actually talk about it. So it was shredders, security paper shredders. I thought there was just regular shredders. I didn't know about. And first off, these things are $7,000. All right, so I had no idea how serious these were. Anyways, it's funny, and the first win is hilarious because I almost didn't do anything right in my head, but I won, right? So it was for 4 of the shredders, it was $28,000. All I did, because again, this is my first one, right? And I'm just gonna do meat and then have them tell me what I did wrong. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna act like I charged them for 5, and I just added another 7,000. So it went from 4 for 28 to 4 for 35, right? And when I actually called the vendor, it's the funny part about it was he had, based off of what I was saying, he was like, is this a government contract? And I was like, yes, it's actually my first one. I'm a rookie and I need help. And they were like, oh, no worries, give me a moment. And they transferred me to somewhere, and I forgot what the department was. But this person here basically was in charge of all of the government contracting. What do I want to call it? Like, not transactions, but
procurements.
Thank you. Right. So they were in charge of that, and damn near spoon fed me through the whole process, right? There was times where I'm actually reading the specs with them on the phone. So they were like, okay, yeah, you do need this. All right, well, if they're asking for that, we can also put this one and it might still suffice. You may want to contact your CO for that, and blase, blase. It was such a beautiful and easy experience. And then, of course, I'm running to yours, like, how do I invoice the WAWL? Do all this, right? So, and that went beautiful. And then also they offered a net 90, and I didn't even need that long.
Wow. If I may, I want to add this because this is really important. Your demeanor and your approach with them opened up wanting to offer help, because we want to offer help. If somebody comes to us, hey, let me give you $100, or hey, take these keys to the Ferrari, you're like freaked out unless you see Mr. Beast or somebody around you. But you're freaked out. You're like, get away, you're a scammer. Why are you trying to give me something? But if somebody's like, hey, help me, or can you help me? We're like, oh, how can I help you? But you did it in a way and you were transparent, because there are some people out there who say, oh, you never tell them it's with the government. If you would have done that, they probably wouldn't have wanted to help. But since you were like, yeah, I'm a rookie, this is my first time, it's like, oh, come over here. We'll help you out. We'll put you in this department. So this is a golden, diamond, covered, platinum, titanium, everything possible strategy for all of you watching to do. Because you end up winning. You won $7,000 from this.
And again, I'm thinking I did everything wrong, right? I'm like, this was way too easy. I'm getting help left and right. The CEO's responding to everything. I'm like, I'm not winning this. They're going to be like, this rookie, right? We're just going to help him, but we're not giving him this contract. And then I got the award letter in. But to piggyback off of what you're saying, vulnerability is a key to success. So exactly what you're saying, that method of being vulnerable, people, like you said, if I would have called and tried to, price gouge or try to get a price quote, but I don't even know what I'm really talking about, they probably would have hung up on, right? But since I come in starting with, all right, the vulnerability, and I really don't know, it's 100% what you said. So I do want to, and it's easier to be vulnerable than act like you know what you're doing.
It sure is. And we respond to it. It's so key to be vulnerable.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I don't know if you knew, but because you're a busy lady, I see you all up in the comments and all that. I'm like, how'd she even have time to read these? I won my second one.
I heard.
So yes, ma'am.
You gotta tell us about it. What is the second one for?
So the second one is something exactly my niche, and it's because you remember I did tech support. This was keyboards and mouses.
Keyboards and mouses. Tell us more.
70 keyboard and mouses. So this one was only $1,200 profit though, and the reason I didn't mind is because the $1,200 was less in value than me winning the contract, right? There was more value in me winning than the profit I was taking. And a shout out to my boy Q. I can't wait till he sees this. All right, I'm gonna go into that in a second. So $1,200, and I didn't mind. I'm like, I told everyone, my SOI, hey, if I win my second one, I'm going all in on this, because all I just need to see is it actually works, right? That first one, that could be a fluke or beginner's luck, whatever. If I get a second one, I know it works. So I'm going all in. So that happened. Also, again, vulnerability. These people were a little bit more impatient with me being new, right? But since I knew about the products, right, that helped on that back end, right? So I missed one thing, but I substituted it with another thing. And it's really about people skills, right? Because I could, if I don't get someone and I'm doing everything I need to do, and I don't get what I need, I can literally hang up and call back in an hour, get someone else and use the same tactic, right? And just that person is having a good day and wants to help. So it's really about just shooting your shot constantly. This whole niche of government contracting is about shooting your shot at the end of the day, no matter what part you're stuck on. So yeah, that one. Oh, also I did want to, because I'm missing key parts, but it's because of how I set it up. So the issue of it getting there, all my contracts are local. I'm picking local, so just in case anything happens, I can be hands-on, or I can come, right? I can show up somewhere, or we're having an issue, we can't get it at that date. Well, shoot, I'll come grab it, right? So yeah, I'm doing local just for getting my feel with everything, and then also I could be hands-on whenever I need. But so yeah, 7K and 1200. It was 70 for the keyboards and mouses, which came out to 8,800, and I just wanted to give a fine number, so I did 10,000, right? And there goes the 1,200 profit. But again, I didn't mind because I'm like, I just want to win. It could have been $1. I could have lost money, and I just needed the win. So that's what that was about. So 2 under my belt. The reason I had brought up Q is because there is something I wanted to talk to you about, the automation. Remember I said I wasn't manually writing these proposals. So of course, everyone knows of GPT, ChatGPT. So that's how it actually first started. I'm going into ChatGPT just to, solicitations, how to break them down, right? Because we can overstand every definition in all the literature, but if you're not reading what they are requesting of you, right, and what they need, then none of that matters. And sometimes that can get a little confusing. And then also, those are some lengthy, right? You could do 55, 70 pages sometimes, right? So I found a way to crunch all that data down, put it in ChatGPT, and it just gives me all the highlights and the main bullet points of what I needed. So I was able to, and then on top of that, write a proposal right after that, right? Of course, everybody, you have to plug in your information. Don't just let ChatGPT write it and then shoot us a proposal off. But plug in all my information, of course, make it look like you wrote it and not a robot, right? But that process, I went from it taking almost like 2 hours for me to search for a solicitation, read it, see if I can have a list of subcontractors to call, then write a proposal, check on specs, all that. That would take like 2 hours plus just for one when I felt like I was doing it right? But then I incorporated ChatGPT, where that cut it down to almost like 30 minutes now, right? Just for one. And then to keep going, I'm not sure if you're aware of the whole ChatGPT thing, but they have ChatGPT 4 where you can customize and make your own, right? So listen to this part, Kizzy. When you customize and make your own ChatGPT, it's kind of like you have a mini LLM, which is a large language model. That's what ChatGPT is in the first place, right? They're taking everything, 7 billion points of reference from internet, and throwing it all in the ChatGPT. You can do this on a smaller scale for something you specifically care about. So I went to Sam.Gov and just threw as much information into my bot as possible. Doing that allowed it to see when things are awarded, what it looks like, right? The lingo and literature, right? And what things you don't need to pay attention to because they're just identification numbers for certain things and writing all that. So basically, I'm getting down to almost like 15 minutes at this point to where I can search for a solicitation, extract all the information from it, see what they require, look for the specs, create a bid and proposal around it, also get suggested subcontractors for that. And the process is just getting really automated now and getting really easy to shoot your shot. So I hope to bring that to you and the community soon. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And here's one last thing, because I know I'm long-winded with these answers. I apologize. The government themselves is trying to come out with their own version, but the issue with it is it's a waiting list. So you have to be selected. And the waiting list, I'm hearing from sources that it's like Section 8 at this point, where you might wait 3+ years just to even get notified that they're looking at your submission. So me, you, Sheena, all the big wigs, Eric Coffey, maybe we could just have our own version of our accelerated bid, right? And then we drop that to the community and remove this monster of, the whole issue of creating bids and submitting proposals.
Well, I love that. I absolutely love everything about this because you're leveraging technology. And I also want to talk about the profit on the electronics. You identify that, their energy and how they were, that you know about the products, and you did another super important thing, because so many people are focused on what's the profit, what's this, which is always mind blowing to me, because you got to think in terms of what is your salary. So within a few months, you have brought in almost an extra $10,000. $10,000. And
I'm sitting on my butt.
Right, from 2 wins. So it's like, instead of focusing so much on like, what's the profit? What do I add as a profit? It's you got to really put that strategy in there. And I love what you did with the electronics, because you were like, hey, $1,200 is still good. This is still amazing. And I love that you did that. So I just wanted to commend you on that, because everybody watching, you'll find a range. There are some things that you can get away with a 50% or 100% profit. There are some things, like my interview with Jerry, he said medical is usually 3%. So it's just the nature of the world, nature of business. So I love that you weren't caught up in, oh, I got to add 50%, I got to add 10, I got to add 15, I got to add 7, I got to add 2. Like, you are in this learning stage, so you're going to be extremely successful. Andre, I'm so excited and proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And you're right. Everything you say is not only truthful, but helpful. And I wish people just, instead of accumulating the information, implement, right? Because another thing I want to piggyback on is when you said the medical field is 3%, and that's just that's just the going rate, right? Well, if you just keep doing in your sector or industry, you'll start realizing what the rate is, what you can get away with, right? And then on top of that, keep getting building rapport with the subcontractors, and then they'll start dropping prices for you. Okay? And because you're bringing work to them, and everyone knows that government, right? They're not going to fall short on the service. You just have to fulfill at the end of the day.
Right, you do. And I love that. So Andre, how can people connect with you who are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing? What's the best way for them to connect?
Yes, ma'am. So on Facebook, I'm Andre Green, definitely in Kizzy's group. Please just use that group as much as possible. Resources left and right. Everyone's there to help. They can DM me at any point in time. I'm here to help. I would love to take some weight off of Kizzy's plate and shoulders. So all the easy question, guys, you send them this way. I got you. On Instagram, on dre.gp. And yeah, that's it for right now.
Yeah, so everyone, please make sure you reach out to Andre's in the Facebook group. He offered you the opportunity to not only DM him, but he's like, bring me some of your questions. So please take full advantage. Thank you again, Andre, for being here. You are a gem. You are a light. I'm so grateful to you. And for everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification, get a copy of the book, Winner's Way Book, winnerswaybook.com, get a copy of the book. And until next time, everything is possible. Take care.